Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very, very special segment. And let's get into the interviews for today. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very special community segment. Today we are going to talk about Gandhiji. Gandhi Jayanti is celebrated in India on 2nd October every year to commemorate the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. It is one of the 3 national holidays in India. Here in Brisbane, we have few Gandhi Jayanti celebrations, and to talk about that, we'd like to welcome to the studio Jim Varghese over here. Jim needs little introduction, and he is well-known and respected personality within our Indian and wider community. He is highly sought-after individual, well-known for his broader vision and his sincere wish for unity within our community and the interest of all. To which end he has overseen many reconciliation in the Gandhian spirit. Jim, it is wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here.
Moving on, first of all, just for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, would you please tell us a little bit about Gandhi Salt March Limited, how it came about?
Yes, look, when Prime Minister Modi came here for the G20 event, we here, the Indian Diaspora, particularly Hemant Naik and I and his wife, we formed a committee because the then Prime Minister, before he was Prime Minister, in a visit to Australia, had asked that we, the Indian Diaspora, erect a Gandhi statue. So we worked very hard in about 6-7 months, and finally the Mahatma Gandhi statue arrived in time for Prime Minister Modi's G20 visit. And when he came here, we formed a company called the Gandhi Salt March Company, and we also had the Gandhi Statue Committee, which I chair and Hemant heads up as the secretariat for that as well, together with Kalpana. And these 2 bodies really then moved very quickly to establish Gandhiji as a very important part of not just the Queensland Indian diaspora, but nationally, to give recognition. Prime Minister Modi here, coming in G20, officially opened the statue at Roma Street, and we thank the Lord Mayor for giving us that great spot in Roma Street. And simultaneously, the owner of Springfield, Maha Sinnathambi, managed to also get the Springfield Mahatma Gandhi Peace Bridge here in Springfield. So both these events were joined together to create Mahatma Gandhi as a very powerful force for peace, nonviolence, and inclusiveness. So since that G20 visit, we have been holding every year a celebration of Gandhi's birthday, either in the city, Brisbane City, Springfield, or both. And we called it the Power of Peace Festival. And the Power of Peace Festival has been going on for some years. Even when COVID-19 hit us last year, we held the event virtually. And this year, we're holding the event as hybrid, as well as virtually, going to India and internationally. So it's a great event for the Queensland Indian diaspora to get together with, celebrating Mahatma Gandhi's great legacy, but also following the recent aftermath of COVID-19, the second wave in India, and the sadness of losing family and friends in India, with many waiting to perform last rites. This has been very heartbreaking. And so the diaspora organizations here, and you're of course familiar with Gopio, as you've been the active force behind that, the FICQ, we're all getting together to revive the art of communal harmony by sharing bread and joining the hybrid event and having a Q&A in that hybrid event, connecting thousands within Australia in the lockdown as well, and also around the world in India that are living in isolation in limited communities in their own compounds due to the pandemic. So here the commemoration is occurring at both the Roma Street Parklands on the 2nd of October, starting at 9 o'clock, about 11, And then we're having a Mahatma Gandhi vegetarian feast to mark his birthday, and that'll be held outside the USQ auditorium from 1 to about 2:30. And then we go to what we call our global event, which is to have a hybrid event with about 65 participants, but live telecast to India and internationally. And we have, of course, Maha Sinnathamby, the chairman of Springfield City Group, who is generously sponsored this event as well. And of course, the High Commissioner to India, the Honorable Manpreet Vora. And of course, we have other dignitaries visiting, as well as bringing some music, like an Australian violinist, Constantine, and his brother, young sporting talents, both hailing from Brisbane. And we'll be singing Gandhian hymns and trying to give the theme of healing the diaspora in this COVID-19 crisis that we've all been sharing together. And I just want to emphasize that Mahatma Gandhi preached the message of unity, non-violence, and tolerance in a dark era of the British Empire. He is remembered for his non-violent protest against the British colonial rulers and his criticism of the further division by the caste system. The recent harrowing brawl in our own community needs the pages to be turned on the partisan communities. Our goal is one unified community for the betterment of the next generation and generations to come.
And that ties in very well with my introduction of what you always have been striving for within the community. Just moving on, that's a very wonderful way you have explained, and you have covered many of the questions which I was going to ask. So that has been covered. Thank you very much for that. Now, but just moving on, the importance of Gandhiji's teaching in today's challenging environment.
Well, in today's challenging environment, the COVID-19 has brought the best and the worst in individuals. And there couldn't be a more important time for us to really look at inclusiveness, nonviolence, and a stronger ecosystem of building our humanity and sharing it with one another. And during this time of COVID-19, we also have an above normal level of mental challenges that we all face, men and women and children. And this is a time when let us affirm the positive love in our community rather than dwell on negativity. Let us look at what unites us rather than what disunites us. Let us embrace all religions and non-religions. And at least on this one day, let us even talk to our enemies as if they were friends. Let us breathe optimism instead of pessimism. And I cannot think of a more important time to do this when we're all in lockdowns in different states and in different parts. There has been the highest level of mutual suspicion between states. And we have some very, very challenging politics, both federal and at state level. My message is very simple. Let us share our humanity together. Let us share our common values. Let us assert the human values that engage all of us who believe in the human values of Mahatma Gandhi principles, particularly of inclusiveness, nonviolence, peace, and love.
And wonderfully said. But in conclusion, I'd like to, just touch on, so what would you say, what is the role of the Indian diaspora in upholding Gandhian principles? As, often we have seen that our actions do not dovetail with our preaching.
That is that's a very challenging question you've asked me. And I think as an Indian diaspora in Australia, we're going to be hitting over 750,000 across our nation. And we obviously coming into Australia from different parts of India and also from parts where the Indian diaspora across the world, from East Africa to UK to Canada, we also carry with us our biases, our particular religious beliefs, and a particular way of looking at life that we need to be reminded that one common point that unites all of India, despite its amazing diversity, was a really remarkable belief in the Gandhian values. And that cuts across all our religious and other beliefs. So the Indian diaspora here has an opportunity to demonstrate that it can actually live the Gandhian principles. Now, we recently had a very serious fight between two religious groups, and ironically involving a temple. And I think that in itself should be a message that from Gandhiji has been through that, be it a mosque, a temple, or whatever. We should be able to rise above that. All of us should be united and empathize with what has happened, but preach the message of inclusiveness and non-violence and peace. Now, if we can live that, and can I congratulate so many of the Indian diaspora in Queensland, around Australia, who involve themselves in offering free meals, accommodation for the homeless, helping people in need and the poor. That is a fantastic piece of work. Let us show by example and demonstrate that we're living the Gandhian values, regardless of what religious belief or non-belief we have.
And once again, very wonderfully said. And of course, as you have mentioned, that we are many times as individual organizations and others very upcoming, and whenever there is a need, we do rise to the occasion in helping the students and the needy and the other ones. It's what you have just said before, bringing about that unity and everyone going forward as a united force, where a little bit of work needs to be done and challenging. And I think you have rightfully said that, you know, these kind of things must be handled, tackled, and of course, rather than being swept under the carpet, discussed. So once again, Jim, thank you so much for spending some time with us today and talking about the Gandhi Salt March and the Power of Peace celebration.
Thank you very much, and I wish everyone a really fulfilling happy birthday for Gandhi on Saturday, the 2nd of October. Please tune in to our hybrid event wherever you are in Queensland. And let us celebrate being one humanity, one global message of Gandhi across the world, not just for India, or for persons of Indian origin. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful message there from Jim Varghese, IEM. And that is what we all should be striving towards, is having one united force, one united voice, and everyone doing our own things as per our customs, traditions, and religions. But of course, when it comes to unity, we be one united big force. So thank you very much. Next up, we will have the second interview after this. And thank you so much for joining us. I will be back again very soon with Aman Chaudhary.